Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the 2013 Fall Convocation University of Saskatchewan graduates.
Would the graduates please turn and face the platform? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fall Convocation 2013. Would you please join our vocalist, Alison Walmsley, in the singing of O Canada, and then please remain standing for the invocation.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons land. With glowing hearts we see the rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Grace to you and peace. I offer today's invocation in recognition of the many paths through which our students, faculty, staff, and guests find meaning in life. Whether we understand this to be in the mystery of a God, in the beauty of nature, in the elegance of science or art, in acts of service to and seeking justice for all people, or in the critical and transformative inquiry at the heart of our educational enterprise, I invite you to open your hearts with me this day. Standing on the edge of possibility, we pause to drink in the deep sense of accomplishment, pride, and hope at this very moment. Suspended in time between a student's past and a graduate's future, we gather with abundant joy and overwhelming gratitude. This celebration embodies our vision of education as an engaged and dynamic partnership between the university and the wider world. Our work here has never been simply for private use, but always for public good. And so today we celebrate our collective commitment to creating a better and more just world. May we bask in the joy of this day, and may the fierce dedication and patient perseverance that has brought you to this very moment carry you forth to create a world marked by peace, justice, and compassion beyond measure. Go forth to do the work that is set before you. Be tireless. Seek the common good. Love and nurture the people and things you value. Attend to your work with integrity, so that what you believe may be what you do. And when you feel as if you might become defeated, think back on today and know that you already have accomplished much. May your lives be a blessing to all. Amen.
Please be seated. Once again, graduands and distinguished guests, welcome. I am Elizabeth Williamson, the University Secretary, and I have the honor of introducing to you the members of the platform party that you see before you. So beginning with the front row, on my left and your right, Russell Eisinger, Registrar and Director of Student Services. Heather Magatu, Vice President, University Advancement. Patty McDougall, Vice Provost, Teaching and Learning. President Eileen Bush-Vishniak. Chancellor Blaine Fable. Anne Doig, recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree. Edith Weems, recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Letters degree. The Honorable Rob Norris, Minister of Advanced Education. Brett Fairbairn, Provost and Vice President Academic. David Hill, Dean, Pharmacy and Nutrition. Murray Drew, Associate Dean, Animal and Poultry Science, Agriculture and Bioresources. Sanjeev Anand, Dean, College of Law. George Kapouris, Dean, College of Engineering. In the second row, our orators, Dave Mensch, Ryan Brooke, Kathy Coughlin. Leonard Fox, recipient of the President's Service Award. Lalita Bharadwaj, recipient of the Award for Distinction in Community Engaged Teaching and Scholarship. Debbie Pushor, recipient of the Master Teacher Award. Glenn Hauser, recipient of the Award for Distinction in Outreach and Public Service. Gary Gable, Professor, Department of Music. David Popkins, Professor Emeritus, College of Medicine. Adam Baxter Jones, College of Graduate Studies and Research. Nita Dick, Dean of Nursing, SciAst. Fred Remillard, Associate Dean, Research and Graduate Affairs, College of Pharmacy and Nutrition. Phil Woods, Associate Dean, Research, College of Nursing. Lois Berry, Dean, College of Nursing. Nick Obsonick, Associate Dean, Biomedical Sciences and Graduate Studies, College of Medicine. Louise Humbert, Associate Dean, Undergraduate Program, College of Kinesiology. Laurie Helston, Associate Dean, Graduate Studies and Research, College of Education. Michelle Pritula, Associate Dean, Undergraduate Studies, Research and Partnerships, College of Education. In the third row, Ehamai Ohiozaba, President of the University of Saskatchewan Graduate Students Association. Karen Gerwing, Senator. Richard Michelenko, Senator. Shirley Haynes, Senator. Jerry Hoback, Senator. Nadia Prokopchuk, Senator. Linda Ferguson, Board of Governors. Hope Belinsky, Associate Dean, College of Nursing. Colum Smith, Vice Dean Research, College of Medicine. Dale Mickelon, President, University of Saskatchewan Retirees Association. Baljit Singh, Associate Dean, Research Veterinary Biomedical Sciences, Western College of Veterinary Medicine. Stephen Milosavljevic, Director, School of Physical Therapy. Liz Harrison, Associate Dean, School of Physical Therapy. Judy Bezowetsky, on behalf of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. Emily Carr, University Chaplain. And behind them, I would ask them to stand, members of the faculty of the University of Saskatchewan. Would you please join me in expressing to all of these faculty, administration, and members of our governing bodies our thanks for the work they have done by supporting, teaching, and encouraging our graduates. We acknowledge the traditional territory of Treaty 6, on which we have gathered for this event. Please stand as you are able for the honor song. Please be seated.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you world-renowned Canadian soprano, Edith Weens. As one of Canada's most successful classical singers of the last 3 decades, this Saskatchewan-born artist stands easily as one of the most deserving individuals for such an award from our school. A Mennonite preacher's daughter, Edith was born in Saskatchewan and as a youngster moved with her family to Vancouver. There, she had early success in music as a singer in festivals and the like, and after Bible college, moved on to Hanover, Germany, to study singing for her undergraduate degree and later to Oberlin for a master's degree. A stint in Switzerland then took her to Munich for further study with voice coach Eric Verba and tenor Ernst Hefliger. From this point, the career became established. Success followed success, from recitalist to concert soloist to opera house and recording star. I have been aware of Miss Weens' career since she won the illustrious Robert Schumann competition in 1979. Ironically, my own singing teacher of the time had studied with Miss Weens' instructor, Mr. Hefliger. As I have said, Miss Weens' climb to success came steadily. She has won international acclaim for performances in each of the major classical forms for voice, art song, oratorio, and opera. Her career has allowed her access to major concert stages and opera stages in the world and musical partnerships with many luminaries. The roster of conductors, singers, and pianists with whom Edith Weens has worked is impressive, but far too long to list here. Miss Weens has achieved other notable awards for her musical achievements. These include the Order of Canada, which cited her international achievements gained via, quote, a beautiful, versatile voice, and I'll only verify that, in a range of repertoire from Baroque to contemporary music. Edith also has won a 1990 Grammy for Best Recording in Classical of Robert Schumann's Das Paradies und die Peri with the L'Orchestre de la Suisse Romande. She won the Maurice Fleuret Prize for that same recording. She also holds honorary degrees from Oberlin College in Ohio and the University of Regina. We have benefited from several visits to our campus by Miss Weens in the past. I recall my first personal encounter, I think in 1997, when Edith came to our campus to perform a wonderful recital, and she also gave a fantastic, intuitive, inspiring masterclass to our students at the time. A few years later, she returned to Saskatoon to perform Mozart's Requiem Mass and provided another masterclass. As a teacher of singing, Edith has lent her vast experience to upcoming singers for many years now. She has taught at such notable institutions as the Hochschule für Musik in Vienna, Austria, at the Universität für Musik in Nuremberg, and at the Juilliard School in New York, amongst others. Miss Weens has also started the Internationale Meistersinger-Akademie in the Universität für Musik in Nuremberg in association with the Juilliard School. While she provides master classes all around the world, it is not every singing star who takes such pains to turn to teaching in such an all-inclusive way, not just as a master teacher, not just as a competition adjudicator, but more importantly, as a true one-on-one instructor and pedagogue, dedicated to developing her students to their fullest potential. Many of her students are enjoying international careers now, including many Canadians, and I think, for instance, of Misha Brugger-Gossman, baritone Tyler Duncan, and mezzo-soprano Wallace Junta, who only this past September performed with our Saskatoon Symphony and gave evidence of her qualities as an opera singer, along with her partner, John Bracey, baritone, another Edith Weens prodigy. The pair of them then spent 2 hours with our students discussing career development and extolling the value of higher learning for their own careers. They were wonderful ambassadors to music and of Miss Weens. Miss Weens is married to cellist Kai Moser, a very successful musician in his own right. They have 2 sons, Johannes and Benjamin, and while she has enjoyed a wonderfully full career on her own, Edith admittedly enjoys the success of her 2 sons more. Johannes, a cellist, has been hailed by Gramophone magazine as, quote, one of the finest among an astonishing gallery of young virtuoso cellists, and has performed with many of the major symphonies of the world. Pianist Benjamin was the 2007 winner of the Tchaikovsky competition in Moscow and has a flourishing musical career as well. What a family. I think I need say no more. Eminent Chancellor, I present Edith Wiens and ask you will confer upon her the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Edith Wiens, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of the province and with the consent of the Senate of the University of Saskatchewan, I admit you to the degree of the Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, and vest you with all of the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Hang on. There we go. All right. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Madam President, Chancellor Fable, esteemed colleagues, and the reason we're here, dear students. When I was thinking about what is a bridge between my career as a singer and the very diverse fields of interest and accomplishment that you are going to be having careers in, I thought, well, it's probably the process of becoming. Now, why would I, a little kid from Saskatoon, I was born here in the town, how come I felt so at home on stages in Paris and London, Vienna, Moscow? What's the key? First and foremost, I love what I do. And first and foremost, I want you to love what you do and know why you're doing it. And I know you've just, gotten a degree, yes. But if you feel that this is not what you love, look inside, reconsider. Really, do what you love to do. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't. It matters how, and it matters why. Because you see, we have to be utterly committed. And if you are utterly committed, how successful can you be in something? Of course you will be successful. Tied to that is vision. Now, I did something maybe a bit weird, but all my life I made a wish list. And I had this little list, just this big. And I would write on it for personal things, for my family, for my career, for whatever I would think of, what I wanted to happen next, or in 5 years, in 10 years. And I scrunched it very tiny. I didn't tell anybody about it. I'm telling you about it because you don't see what's on that list. And I would put it in my wallet, and every time I opened my wallet, I would be reminded of where I want to go, of what I want to do. And it just helped me remember where I was going. And this utter commitment thing is so important too, because there are grim days. There are. And you've got to survive them because you know what you're doing has a purpose. Also, be kind. Pragmatically speaking, I cannot tell you how often I ran across the assistant of the assistant's assistant a couple years down the road, and there they were, the head of their company, there they were, the head of the orchestra, the organization. But far more than that, be kind, because it will come back to you, and it will lighten your life. And lastly, and leading to the song I want to sing for you, to demonstrate my great thanks for this wonderful honor, this truly wonderful honor, I'm thrilled, is, and it's very hard, I found it hard all my life, live in the nano moment, if you possibly can. Things happen. Don't get caught up in the dreams of tomorrow. Live now. Live fully today. It's the only chance we have. Thank you.
I forget all the joys that are mine today. I can't be contented with yesterday's glory. I can't live by promises made in the spring. Today is my moment, and now is my story. I'll laugh and I'll cry and I'll sing. Today, while the blossoms still cling to the vine, I'll taste your strawberries and I'll drink your sweet wine. A million tomorrows will pass away ere I forget all the joys that are mine today.
Thank you.
Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to present to you Dr. Anne Doig, who's being awarded the honorary degree Doctor of Laws. Anne graduated from the University of Saskatchewan's College of Medicine in 1976. She completed postgraduate training in family medicine here in Saskatoon and has spent her entire 35 career so far serving the patients of the City Centre Family Physicians Clinic in this city. From the beginning, she had a special interest in obstetrics and was appointed as a clinical associate professor in the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences at the University of Saskatchewan. Her enthusiasm and effectiveness as a teacher did not go unnoticed. In 1990, she received the Clinical Teacher of the Year Award in Family Medicine at Saskatoon City Hospital. And in 1996, the Excellence in Teaching Award from the Canadian Association of Professors of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Dr. Doig was the co-chair of the Society of Obstetrics and Gynecology of Canada's committee that developed the Advances in Labor and Risk Management program, called the ALARM program, which now provides health professionals instruction for safe labor and delivery in Canada and, in fact, internationally. Anne's interest in women's health extended far beyond obstetrics. In the 1990s, she was the medical advisor to the Screening and Early Detection Division of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency, and she played a central role in launching the prevention program for cervical cancer in this province. Anne has served her profession through her work with local and national medical associations. Her leadership and experience with the Saskatchewan Medical Association prepared her for the challenging role of President of the Canadian Medical Association, which represents more than 70,000 physicians in our provinces and territories. As President of the CMA, Anne played a vital role in launching the association's vision of transformation for the Canadian healthcare system in 2010. Anne is a director of the Board of Canada Health Infoway and the Board of Directors of STARS, which is the Shock Trauma Air Rescue Society. In 2010, the Women's Executive Network recognized Dr. Doig as one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women. At that same year, she was honored by her medical colleagues as a recipient of the Exceptional Service Award by the Saskatoon Health Region. And in 2011, Anne was given an Award of Excellence from the College of Family Physicians of Canada. And in 2012, Dr. Doig received a University of Saskatchewan Achievement Award. Anne's been a very active volunteer and contributor to this community, serving on the boards of Goldfin Swim Club, the Swim Saskatchewan Incorporated, and Swimming National Canada. She's a past president of the Goldfins and Swim Saskatchewan, and in 2005 she received the Centennial Leadership Award from the Saskatchewan government. Dr. Doig is a member of the University Community Choruses and has a lifelong interest in music and the arts. Now, behind most successful women, there is often a loving and supportive partner. In Anne's case, it's her husband, Robert Cohen, best known as Bob. Together, Anne and Bob have raised 6 children who are blessed to have them as role models. And we, as a community, are blessed to have Anne with us today. Mr. Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Anne Doig for the degree Doctor of Laws.
Anne Doig, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of the province and with the consent of the Senate of this university, I admit you to the degree of the Doctor of Laws honoris causa and invest with you all of the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
I'm not quite sure how I'm to follow the fabulous performance that you've just heard from Ms. Weens, but I'll do my best. Chancellor Favel, President Bush-Vishniak, distinguished platform party, faculty and staff, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. Before saying a few words to the graduands, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the University of Saskatchewan for the very great honor given to me this afternoon. It is not every day that a person receives the highest academic honor that a university can bestow. To receive such an honor from one's own alma mater is even more significant. To receive it simply for doing one's job and trying to do it well is truly overwhelming. I am very glad to share this special occasion with my husband, Bob Cowan, our 6 children and their spouses, my parents, Joan and Noel Doig, and of course my brother Chip, who has the honor of being among the dignitaries on stage with me somewhere back there this afternoon. Thank you all for being here today and for supporting me as you have always done in so many ways. Graduands, this is your day, a very special day and one I hope you will remember through whatever the future holds for each one of you. You've been called today to join the university's family of scholars, and we are all here this afternoon to welcome you and to witness this acknowledgement of your academic achievements. For some of you, the day will be extra special, as you will be recognized for outstanding scholarship. But for each of you here this afternoon, this is a day of celebration. As you celebrate the closing of this chapter of your life, I hope every one of you is already looking forward to the next chapter. And it is that next chapter that I would like to take a few short minutes to address. There's an old joke that says, what do you call the person who graduated at the bottom of the class in med school? The answer, of course, is doctor. And those of you who are good at math will recognize that 50% of all doctors graduated in the bottom half of their class. What's my point? Clearly, what is important in the grand scheme of life is not the accolades we receive or the recognition of our talents, but what we do with what we have been given. There is no task too small for any of us to respond, "I can do that." You have been given the tools, the knowledge, and in some cases, the practical skills to make a difference in the world. Your job now is to go out and do it. I suggest that regardless of what you do from here forward, whether you continue with academic life and further scholarship or enter the workforce, whether you follow one career path or many, whether you choose a life of volunteerism and supporting your spouse and family, or indeed any combination of those activities, your ability to make a difference is founded in 3 learned and cultivated attitudes. The first is the deliberate decision always to do your best, regardless of the situation. The second is to cultivate the habit of continuous learning. The third, and perhaps the most important, and I think you heard this from Ms. Weens, is always to put others ahead of yourself. In Latin, the first principle of the Code of Ethics for Physicians is primum non nocere, which is usually translated, "First, do no harm." There is a second, equally valid translation which says, "Consider first the well-being of the patient." It is that translation that embodies the concept I am trying to convey, that we must, first and always, put the needs of others ahead of our own. The English poet John Donne wrote, no man is an island entire unto itself." He could be an Ireland too, you never know. "Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away, Europe is the less." Donne was speaking, of course, about the interconnectedness and interdependence of human beings. We must always acknowledge the humanity in each other. As the plaque on our kitchen wall at home says, to be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Donne's verse speaks of the importance of the apparently insignificant. A great continent is diminished by the loss of a single clod of earth. We are all important members of our communities. The loss of one diminishes us all, and we share the task of sustaining the whole. When I was little, the old Eaton's store at the corner of 3rd Avenue and 21st Street downtown had an elevator that was operated by someone who seemed to be a very important person. She must have been very important. She got to wear white gloves to work every day, and no one could get on or off the elevator until this very important person opened the inner doors of the elevator cage and announced the floor and what was available for purchase there. Elevator operators are long gone, and I am sure her job was suffocatingly monotonous and hard on her feet and her back. And yet, I will argue that my childish assessment of her importance was not far wrong. Elevator operators like her were an essential cog in the machine of business commerce in the tall buildings of our big cities. The concept of lifelong learning is instilled into all of us throughout our university careers. Continuing professional development is mandated in our professions and skilled trades. We must demonstrate our commitment to refreshing our skills and knowledge. As a physician, I am expected to keep abreast of new knowledge about illnesses, their causes, and cures. However, it is from my patients that I learn the practical application of that knowledge in the context of their lives, understanding the difference between illness and dis-ease. understanding the relief of suffering that is embodied in the Latin words caritas and misericordia. C.S. Lewis said, "Experience, that most brutal of teachers, but you learn. My God, you learn." A good doctor is one who has not only acquired medical knowledge, but has developed wisdom and compassion, formed in the crucible of experience. The capacity and the humility to learn from each other is something all of us can cultivate. The Victorian poet Rudyard Kipling wrote his poem, If, as a celebration of the personal traits Kipling admired and wanted his son John to emulate. The poem is too long to read in its entirety here, but I commend it to you as still worthy of consideration. Joni Mitchell apparently thought so. She set the entire poem to music and recorded it in 2007 on her album Shine. Kipling's words about giving it your best shot are as relevant today as they were a century ago. At the end of the third stanza, Kipling wrote, "If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on." And a few lines later, at the conclusion of the poem, "If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son." This is a room full of amazing talent. I wish you every success. I know you will do yourselves and the University of Saskatchewan proud. My wish for each of you is that you will be able to answer yes every day to my 3 questions. Did I do my best? Did I learn something? Did I make a difference to someone else? Yours is the earth. Look after it and each other well. Congratulations and thank you.
Graduands, faculty, distinguished guests, loved ones, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege to provide a few remarks of my own today for this convocation, and I will address them primarily to our newest graduates. We live in a world of beauty, but it is also one of complexity. Everywhere you turn, you can see tension. For instance, we have reason to expect to live longer than the generations before us did. But the aging of our society places a significant burden on future generations who must work longer to support their elders. We want to provide better nutrition to the world's poorest people, but we must ask what policies that encourage this will cost in terms of environmental stability. And while we tend to think about conflict outside our own borders, many of the world's leading challenges are mirrored in our own nation and our own province. Even for an optimist, and I do count myself in this group, it is difficult to see how a future can unfold that reflects our traditional goals of peace, respect, happiness, and prosperity. Historically, before communication was pervasive and nearly instantaneous, it was possible to focus on issues of local importance and to seek local solutions. Thus, for example, the U of S was founded to serve the people of Saskatchewan. It was defined by its geography and the needs of a new and growing province. Today, local problems are no longer independent of their global context. For instance, If Saskatchewan farmers have a bad harvest, this is clearly a problem for Saskatchewan, but as we produce over half of the world's lentils and peas, it is also a problem for Indian China. Today, when we define the priorities of our communities, municipalities, and province, we cannot afford the luxury of isolationism. We must instead consider the ramifications nationally and globally as well. That makes issues more complex, more politically charged, and often more urgent. In the future created by our global presence, we will find the following characteristics are valued: an ability to understand different perspectives on any issue and to change one's views and actions as our understanding changes; an abiding respect for people of all sorts, reflected in our actions as well as our words; knowledge, both broad and specialized, as a means of contributing to a just and equitable society; an ability to work as part of a team, for even that homestead with a farmer who fixed all equipment has yielded to combines with GPS systems and software updates; and a willingness to compromise, something sorely missing in the political leaders in many parts of the world. Graduates, over the last years, we have prepared you for this future you now meet. We have armed you with a set of diverse experiences, with particular knowledge in your chosen area, with opportunities to work in teams both socially and in classes, and with exposure to many new people, cultures, and ideas. You are ready to leave the cocoon of the U of S to take your place in our tumultuous world. We hope you will choose to make our world better through your work, your hobbies, your families, and your service. In your time at the university, you will have made new friends who we hope will remain an important part of your social circle for the rest of your lives. You will have worked for or with people who have already or may in the future open doors for you as your career progresses. You will have had preconceived notions challenged, and along the way, we hope you had fun. In the fullness of time, when you look back, we believe you will view your time at the university as having been among the most important experiences in making you who you are. The degree you have earned from the U of S has required investments of time and money and other sacrifices as well. The province of Saskatchewan has provided much financial support for your education because it knows the value of a degree and how education can strengthen communities within our province, country, and world. Your degree comes with a few responsibilities, and as a U of S graduate, we have a few favors to ask of you. First, the best way to repay your debt to the people of Saskatchewan is to be successful in your career, whatever you have chosen that to be. You define what constitutes that success, whether it is the satisfaction of knowing you make a difference in the world or the amassing of wealth. Second, we are not so arrogant as to believe we at the university are perfect, although I like to think we're close. We know that mixed within your learning, your fun, and your personal development were moments in which we let you down. Please tell us how we can improve for the future. Third, we know that Saskatchewan is the province with the lowest rate of post-secondary engagement in Canada. In a world in which job security and a decent job rely on knowledge, we have a moral imperative to help more Saskatchewanians earn academic credentials. Help us to do that by being an active role model in your community. Encourage students to stay in high school, to pursue a degree, and if it seems like the right fit, to join our University of Saskatchewan family. Fourth, be active and engaged in your community, however you choose to define it. Now that you don't have classes to attend, you may find you actually have time available to you. Use it wisely. And fifth, give back to organizations and people that helped shape you and helped ensure your success. It's okay to start modestly or to contribute time rather than money, but make giving part of your constitution. I've yet to meet a volunteer or donor who doesn't feel that they've gained more from their gifts in volunteering than the recipient of those gifts of time and resources. Today, graduates, as you march across this stage, know that we are very proud of your accomplishments. You've worked hard to achieve your academic credential, and we know your futures are bright as a result. You've earned the right to a celebration with loved ones. Please stay in touch with us and let us know the various twists and turns as your life unfolds, and please come visit us often. Thank you.
Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, members of the University Senate and Board, I present to you the petition of the Council of this university that the candidates to be named, having fulfilled all the requirements of the bylaws, may, with your permission, be admitted to the degrees and certificates to which they are entitled.
Thank you, Secretary Williamson. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of this province, with the consent of the council of this university, I consent to admit you to the degrees and certificates to which you are entitled, and to vest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Would the graduands in the front row please rise and come to the platform? Graduands, as you make your way forward, I'll just let you know how the conferring of degrees will unfold. As you enter the stage, please stop and face the audience, as the hood will be put over your shoulders. Once you've been hooded, proceed to the first podium where the orator will present each of you by name. Once your name has been announced, proceed to shake the Chancellor's hand, and then the Chancellor tells you that you have been admitted to the Convocation of the University of Saskatchewan. You will then continue across the platform to be greeted by your Dean or Associate Dean of the College and to receive your parchment from them. As you go down the steps, you will be welcomed as new members of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association by a representative of the association.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you these scholars and ask that you confer on them the Prairie Horticulture Certificate. I present to you Jessica Catherine Sinclair. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Prairie Horticulture Certificate. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you this scholar and ask that you will confer on her the Diploma in Agribusiness. I present to you Janelle Lynn Farr. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the Diploma in Agribusiness. Eminent Chancellor, on the behalf of the faculty of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the Diploma in Agronomy. I present to you Darren C. Buse. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Diploma in Agronomy. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. I present to you Shanna Marie Demontier. Riley Enns. Jasmine Rose Hanna. Kaylin Rose Carrig. Mark James Patrick Seguin with great distinction. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Science. I present to you Chang Cheng. Ting Cheng. Tikate Astake Hale. Hannah Joy Konshu. Ashley Dana Kraus. Lisa Mary Malo. Zaharias Stellanos Matthews. Robin Elaine Morley. Candice Lynn Piper. Ekene Wallaway Lilani Damaki Samarakun. Michael Allen St. Louis. Caitlin Maria Strobe. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Science. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Education, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Education. I present to you Denise Faye Bill. Nolan Blair Machiskanek. Kelly Elizabeth McIntyre with distinction. Lena June Moccasin. Chanda Evelyn Tamara Rabbitskin. Alvarine Emerald Thomas with distinction. Adrian Raymond Whitstone. Lindsay Brett Whitstone. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Education. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Education, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the post-degree certificate in education, special education. I present to you Amelia Irene Davidson. Amy Ann Dysart. Erin Louise Ewan. Atina Dawn Ford Johnston. Teresa May Francoeur. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the post-degree certificate in education, special education. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask you will confer on them the degree of Master of Education. I present to you Karen Gay Adley. Jody Patricia Allen. Sarah Karina Andre. Robin Lynn Ayers. Amy Lynn Basaraba. Stacy Ann Becker. Clarence Kim Bergen. Dean William Biesenthal. Myrna Sharon Briggs. Emma Jessica Say. Laura Ann Say. Lorna Jean Donlevy. Penny Jo Jacqueline Donovan. Nicole Inga Reed Espeseth. Larissa Michelle Fauchot-Shu. Rodrigo Figuero. David Douglas Fisher. Dion Michael Ferber. Nancy Lee Graham. Jenny Eileen Green. Lindsay Danielle Hagan. Megan Kathleen Hawkins. Cheryl Leanne Hunt. Janet Margaret Jackson. Diana Leigh Jemieff. Brandy Lee Kelsey. Candace May Klobel. Eric Redford Knutson. Tressa Dawn Kokonis. Jessica Lynn Leclerc. Nicole Marcy Lacrossiere. Bernadette Christina La Liberté. Jennifer Rianne Larson. Kyle Lichtenwald. Karen Elizabeth McDonald Smith. Monica Denise McKenzie. Lazarus Aeneas Masson. Patricia Mary Maxwell. Diana Lynn McGilvery. Shannon Maud McLeod. Bonita Louise Mature. Amanda Ray Murkowski. Andrew Archie Merriweather. Michelle Louise Olivier. Michelle Patricia Marie Quall. Tara Quaith. Kevin Lawrence Raffel. Samantha Jean Rissling. Mika Sati Usiskin. Reginald Keith Silversides. Michelle Dawn Simpson. Carol Ray Spark. Giselle Marie Stallwick. Craig Duncan Stewart. Maria Rojane Stonehouse. Sasha Candy Saku. Marla Lynn Tiggenkamp. Glenn Howard Treitz. Anita Hermina Verlangen. Ashley Wagner. Colleen Patricia West. Nita Lynn Gail Wilson. Nicole Ray Blair Wilton. Chengyu Zhao. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Education.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer upon them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering, Chemical Engineering. I present to you Keegan Irwin Albert Blank. Mohammed Handi El Moselhi. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Civil Engineering. Oh, pardon me. Chemical Engineering. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Desiree Louise Henold. Xu Wu. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. I present to you Yu Hu. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I present to you this scholar and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. I present to you Mengling Zhang. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I present to you this scholar and ask that you will confer on them the Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. I present to you Kenneth Andrew Guido. Brittany Chantal Mooney. Bo Lin Zhang. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Engineering. I present to you Douglas Alexander Campbell. Siavish Kaksar. Regina Shrestha. Lu Wang. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Engineering. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Science. I present to you Sriram Chandra Sakar, Karina Ida Forster, Marlis Grace Foth, Dwayne Joel Gunther, Jai Li Hong, Liana Lau, Gopriyam Madella, Tung Trong Nguyen, Michael Anthony Rowe, Jody William Scamell, Joseph Kalen Schneider, Brian Michael Sibley, Anthony Dale Voikin, Jason Elliott Young, Le Zhang. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Science. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Kinesiology, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology. I present to you Stacy Michael Alexander, Nolan Scott Brodell, Ryan Alexander Desjardins, Brandon Marcel Echeverry, with distinction. Taylor Lane LaValle. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer upon them the degree of Master of Science. I present to you Brendan John Peter Pikaluk. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the degree of Master of Science. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer upon them the degree of Master of Laws. I present to you Anna Luisa Flaminio, Nathan Paul Forrester, Keir John McFarlane Valance. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Laws. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Science. I present to you Ethel Attenley, Susan Rose Blackwell, Andrew Rishi Chadna, Hannah Dworchak, Julie Erin Penner. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Science. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Nursing, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer upon them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing. I present to you Angela Dawn Alquist, with distinction. Sarah Lynn Akister. Janessa Joy Bailey, with distinction. Casey Lee Ann Luridson Bauer. Julia Rose Billett. Victoria Isabel Bouchard. Sarah Renee Brock. Shayna Lee Bush. Leanne Michelle Burke. Kirsten Bree Butler. Jocelyn Lee Ciron. Manuela Ileana Cachedy. Nan Chen. Jessica Nicole Chinsky. Louise Linda Mary Churchman. Lindsay Marie Deganay. Jenna Ella Teresa Dunn, with great distinction. Nicole Jan Earring, with distinction. Kayla Ann Frankie. Vanessa Anna Maria Frederick. Kristen Lee Friesen. Elizabeth Ann Geary, with great distinction. Jessica Elena Gould. Jennifer Lynn Grant. Kayleen Joy Heinrichs, with distinction. Brittany Morgan Harridge. Jenna Lee Hitchcock. Jenna Lee Ann Hostin, with distinction. Lind Ray Illingworth. Ashley Jordan Victoria Jamin. Sarah Brooke Carrig. Kaylee Elizabeth Kimber. Carmen Stephanie Krenz, with distinction. Courtney Lorene Lacoste. Crystal Joy Lockhart. Jade Marie Lucichin. Sorry. Kelly M. McEwen, with distinction. Marilyn Kate McNally, with distinction. Jade Lindsay Michael, with distinction. Natalie Irene Moffett. Brittany Lee Ruth Molnar, with distinction. Clarissa Moolman. Kirsten Danielle Morin. Amanda Janelle Neighbor, with great distinction. Tanasegri Naidu. Brittany Wanda Nowakowski, with distinction.
Angela Pui Fong O, with distinction. Chantel Melanie Otutoju. Stephanie C. Otsuka. Rachel Elaine Parr. Nicole Danielle Pepler. Chelsea Nicole Peterson. Tara Lee Phillips. Angela Joy Pirard. Stacy Nicole Richards. Megan Lynette Richmond. Kimberly Pauline Robertson, with distinction. Nicole Marlene Robertson. Lisa Danielle Sauter, with great distinction. Christopher Paul Schindel. Lise Carol Schultz. Penny Lynn Sinclair. Linda Joanne Smallwood, with distinction. Melissa Lynn Smith, with great distinction. Crystal Jean Spihar. Chantel Marie Michelle Saint-Amand. Jacine Heather Steyer. Janelle Monique Tarrant. Kathleen Barbara Thorpe. Kara J. Lynn Timchak, with distinction. Sarah Ann Vandenbosch, with great distinction. Megan Natalie Walter. Rayanne Marie Weinberger. Lynette Jane Zielinski, with great distinction.
We are honored today to award Noella Marie Karlik the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Receiving the degree this afternoon is Noella's daughter, Lenny. Noella was a woman of strong faith, perseverance, and dedication. Noella returned to receive her BSN in nursing after receiving a diploma in nursing years earlier and having practiced in acute care, long-term care in rural, urban, and northern settings. Her dream was to start a live-in center for Aboriginal people with diabetes. Noella was the most dedicated student, and last thing Noella did before entering the hospital for the last time was attend a nursing class. Her love of education and commitment to her studies and to her profession was admirable and will be missed. You can go ahead.
Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Nursing. I present to you Candy Dawn Bratton. Mary Brannon. Erin Michelle Gabriel. Karen Patricia Gelowitz. Lindsay Ann Gervais. Alicia Catherine Dawn Hoffman Tetlock. Vicki Kennedy. Brenda Maureen Kwiatkowski. Lori Jean Schwartz. Sarah Jean Sokolak. Kendra Janielle Ulmer. Laura Elizabeth Vogelsang. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Nursing.
Linz Albuquerque Andrade Ramos, posthumously the degree of Master of Science. I'm honored to say a few words about Rafaela on behalf of our graduate supervisor, Phyllis Patterson, and the College of Pharmacy and Nutrition. First of all, I would like to welcome her family joining us today from Brazil via the live stream. In 2010, we had the privilege of having this very bright, energetic, and engaging young woman join our graduate program. Rafaela had graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition from the University of Brasilia in 2009. During her undergraduate studies, she was always involved with one research project or another. Rafaela told us that she was simply too curious not to get involved. After working as a clinical dietitian, she came to pursue her Master's of Science at the University of Saskatchewan. Here she has been acknowledged for her scholarly work by teaching by various awards given to her by scholarships, excelling in her graduate courses, and of course winning a prize at our Life and Health Sciences Research Day. Rafaela was very devoted to her family. She was a compassionate woman with a desire to help people. For example, while living in Brazil, she enlisted with the Fighting Hunger program, where she did field research in poor communities and wrote about the nutritional disparities she observed. We pay tribute to Rafaela today, a woman with a big heart, who was determined to make positive differences in the lives of people in need. We remember our colleague and friend and her beloved daughter, Clara. Rafaela's close friend, Fernanda Diaz, will accept Rafaela's degree on behalf of the family. Thank you.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Physical Therapy. I present to you Amber Leanne Barlow. Katie Amara Chisholm. Laura Faye Edwards. Morgan Dale Marie Erickson. Ryan Michael Fair. Marina Blythe Forster. Helen Kathleen Hanbidge. Lori Grace Harder. Megan Renee Jakubowski. Alyssa Dawn Johns. Alexis Pauline Kinderchuk. Kimberly Rochelle Mack. Sheila Marie Magill. Stacy Willa Mann. Darren Randall Mazai. Kara McDougall. Jessica Ashley McRae. Natalie Carol McVitie. Kristen Leanne Moore. Duncan Andrew Monroe. Carolee Nell. Amanda Sandra Patterson. Rendalyn Elise Proyne. Trent Elliott Rempel. Paula Jean Sather. Megan Joelle Sawatsky. Janessa Lee Schaefer. Christina Lane Shaw. Nicole Lynn Siemens. Brianne Jody Tennant. Kaylee Christine Susan Wilson. Erica Lynn Uzek. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Physical Therapy. That was you. One more to add to that. Stephanie Catherine Zacharuk. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Science. I present to you Laura Elizabeth Johnson. Nicole Danielle Parr. Kristen Lee Schroeder. Michelle Marie Townsend. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Science. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I present to you Kelly Richard Austin. Melissa May Arkand. Fernanda Camina Faustino Diaz. Wubin Cheng. Gwinyi Emmanuel Chibisat. Surdar Urkan. Ahmad Azmini Taheri. Pramod Kumar Dinkar Jadhav. Gorango Kar. Matthew Graham Links. Robin Allison Mueller. Harry Eugene Peary. William Randall Roger. Navita Viveki. Jinwei Wang. Xia Wang. Tushan Shanjiwa Withana Gamaj. James Anthony Zuckeruk. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Eminent Chancellor, in the name of the faculties, I ask you to grant the degrees, diplomas, and certificates in absentia to those students who have met the requirements to graduate but were not able to be present today.
At the request of the faculties, I authorize these degrees and certificates to be granted.
Chancellor Favel, President Bush-Vishniak, platform, faculty, graduates, and honored guests. It is my pleasure to present the recipient of the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation Prize for Most Distinguished Graduate from the College of Education, Fall Convocation, Mr. Alden Noen Epp. Growing up in northern Saskatchewan and Manitoba, Alden has developed strong ties to community. He always appreciates and learns from the people and land around him, especially his home community of beautiful Pinehouse Lake. As such, he's described as a wonderful, caring individual. Alden comes from a family of craftsmen, and along with developing a wicked sense of humor, he has inherited excellent woodworking skills. Despite these wonderful skills and personality, however, Alden had never considered becoming a teacher, nor ever thought of himself as a teacher. But through an opportunity to tutor grade 1 students in Timber Bay, Alden discovered that he absolutely loved it. As a result of that, he was encouraged by his principal to consider going into education and enrolled in the Northern Teacher Education Program, NORTEP, in 2009. Alden has a natural teaching ability, is a strong writer, a developing researcher, and throughout his time in the college, excelled in his studies and his internship, and earned the love and respect of his students and colleagues. Alden is grateful to his wife for supporting him throughout his program, and is also very thankful to the students, their parents, families, fellow co-workers, cooperating teachers, professors, and classmates for playing such an instrumental role in his becoming a teacher. Although Alden couldn't join us today, please do join me in congratulating Alden on his accomplishments as the recipient of the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation Prize.
Eminent Chancellor, I am pleased to present the most distinguished graduate of the College of Nursing, Melissa Lynn Smith. Melissa, where are you? There she is. Melissa grew up in Canmore, Alberta. Prior to entering the post-degree Bachelor of Science Nursing program at the College of Nursing, Melissa completed a degree in International Studies at the University of Saskatchewan. During her studies, Melissa volunteered in the library at Royal University Hospital. She also participated in a seminar abroad experience, during which she volunteered in a home for HIV-positive children in Guatemala. After completing her degree, she worked for the non-governmental organization Cause Canada on an adult literacy program for women, which promoted women's health and maternal health in particular. This experience stimulated her interests in literacy, community health, community development, and nursing. As an undergraduate student in the post-degree BSN program, Melissa excelled in all her courses and was the recipient of several scholarships and awards in recognition of her high academic achievement. In addition, she enjoyed volunteering her time and energy in the House for All Nations, a local community church. Melissa is currently employed as a graduate nurse on the palliative care unit at St. Paul's Hospital in Saskatoon, and also as a research assistant in the College of Nursing at the University of Saskatchewan. In the future, she would like to work in public health and pursue her interests in global health issues. Melissa Smith graduates today with great distinction and is a worthy recipient of the award for the Most Distinguished Nursing Graduate at the 2013 Fall Convocation. We are very proud of her accomplishments to date and look forward to great things from her in the future. On behalf of the College of Nursing, it's my great pleasure to formally congratulate and pay tribute to Melissa Smith.
Eminent Chancellor, graduates, special guests, family, and colleagues. The School of Physical Therapy Talmage E. Hunt Award was established in recognition of one of the founders of the physical therapy program, Dr. Tal Hunt. This award, supported by the Saskatchewan Arthritis Society, recognizes the top Masters of Physical Therapy graduate at Fall Convocation. I am very pleased to introduce this year's recipient, Rendalyn Pruin. Randolyn grew up in Portage-la Prairie, Manitoba, for those of you who don't know. Her outstanding academic performance was recognized very early, as she was the Governor General Medalist from Portage Collegiate Institute. On her way to Saskatchewan, she completed an undergraduate Bachelor of Science with honors at Queen's University. In addition to outstanding academic performance during her Master's of Physical Therapy program, Randolyn volunteered as a physical therapy student at the Student Wellness Initiative Towards Community Health, which we refer to as SWITCH, the Canadian Physiotherapy Congress, which was held in Saskatoon, and she attended Formation Santé en Français, the U of S Health Training in French Club for students in the health sciences, focused on developing French communication skills. I can attest, as one of her professors, that Randolyn has always been a committed and engaged learner. She's not only inquisitive, but demonstrates a high level of independent learning and critical thinking. In the clinical setting, her supervisors similarly recognize these attributes, and her patients will experience someone whose #1 priority is providing them with the highest quality of care. Randolyn loves to travel, has an interest in music, and enjoys many sports. She's really a well-rounded graduate who will be a wonderful member of the healthcare team in a community practice in Saskatoon, which is LifeMark Physiotherapy. Please join me in congratulating Randolyn Pruin as the Talmage E. Hunt Award for the School of Physical Therapy's Fall Convocation.
Okay.
Eminent Chancellor, it's my pleasure today to present a University of Saskatchewan Master Teacher Award to Dr. Debbie Pusher, Associate Professor in Curriculum Studies, College of Education. One of the criteria for a Master Teacher Award is that recipients establish a reputation among students and colleagues for superior teaching. Dr. Pusher has an outstanding reputation, and it goes something like this. She's generous with her time, unselfish with her expertise, and affirming in her relationships with students and colleagues. Dr. Pusher brings creative approaches to her course material and is committed to interactive learning and equity in her classroom. Dr. Pusher is mindful, engaging, and relevant. She recognizes and celebrates the capacity that exists in each student. She empowers students. Dr. Pusher reminds students and colleagues what it means to love teaching and learning. Here's one of my favorites. One student reported that when faced with challenging professional issues, always at the forefront of her mind is, what would Debbie do? To be deemed a master teacher, a faculty member must demonstrate that he or she makes a contribution to the enhancement of the educational activities and responsibilities of the university. Dr. Pusher has developed and implemented a broad range of courses at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. At present, she's supervising almost 30 master's and postgraduate diploma students. For those of you who may not have a reference point, let me just say this is a big number of students. She's worked on the design of a Master's of Education program in early childhood education. Students appreciate Dr. Pusher's experience and expertise in Aboriginal communities and her ability to translate these experiences into a knowledge base within her courses. When I looked through her materials, I was struck by the fact that one could draw multiple lines that move from Dr. Pusher's work to the work of her graduate students and out beyond the university to leadership and policy development in education and around the province, nationally and internationally. This woman has an impact. A third criterion is the demonstration of proficient and innovative pedagogy. Dr. Pusher sees herself as a facilitator, and her philosophy is based on the idea that affect, in other words, feeling and emotion, are central to teaching, and that teaching and learning are relational community activities. Her commitment to experiential and community-focused pedagogy means that students will find themselves participating in sweat lodges, listening to elders, visiting reserve schools, and meeting with organizations who serve children, youth, and adults in marginalized circumstances. One of the very interesting projects she undertakes is to invite school personnel into her 400-level classroom to help students design and conduct teaching and learning community projects with partners in schools. Our master teachers show comprehensive knowledge of the subject matter and demonstrate excellence in scholarship. Dr. Pusher is an expert in parental engagement. How do we engage parents in schools? And how might we promote parent leadership where we need it the most? She's also a well-recognized scholar in the field of narrative inquiry, a research approach that uses things like stories, conversations, and interviews to understand how people make meaning in their lives. And what's particularly important about this work today is that she embeds her research in her teaching practice. She shares her passion for her research activities by inviting students to contribute to published works. By all accounts, Dr. Pusher is an influential voice in teacher education. At a recent scholarship event, I listened to our esteemed Vice President of Research, Dr. Karen Chad, as she talked to a group of students about life lessons. And she told them that as you go through life, you will find that people won't necessarily remember what you said or what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. I can think of no better summary of the work of Dr. Debbie Pusher. She brings authenticity and energy to every interaction and makes students, faculty, and the community around her feel as though they are seen and they are heard. It is an honor to present the Fall 2013 Master Teacher Award to Dr. Debbie Pusher, and I thank her for all that she brings to the learning and discovery missions of the University of Saskatchewan. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to present the President's Service Award to Mr. Leonard Fox. Good. Leonard Fox is a very unassuming man, and yet for many students, he is the face of the University of Saskatchewan, one of the first people they encounter at this institution. In his role as a clerical services worker in student accounts and treasury, and as a true advocate for the students he serves, Mr. Fox is a big part of us reaching our goal of ensuring we provide a safe and welcoming environment for students. For more than 15 years now, Mr. Fox has been the person students turn to with questions about their accounts, with tuition payments, and with concerns and issues that could affect their success at our university. His own Aboriginal heritage and experiences make him a tremendous resource for us and for our Aboriginal and international students. This is a big place that is sometimes challenging to navigate, something Mr. Fox clearly understands, but he always goes above and beyond to ensure students get the information, services, and support they need, even if that support is just a friendly word of encouragement. Intervening on behalf of students, being a contact person for outside organizations, and speaking to groups of Aboriginal and international students, school counselors, and prospective employers about the University of Saskatchewan are all part of the job for Mr. Fox, and he does it all with warmth, kindness, and good humor. In recognition of his dedication to the students of this university, it is my great pleasure to present the President's Service Award to Leonard Fox.
Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, platform participants, graduates, and guests. It is my pleasure to present the University of Saskatchewan's Award for Distinction in Community Engaged Teaching and Scholarship to Dr. Lalita Baharadwaj. Dr. Baharadwaj is a toxicologist in the university's School of Public Health, specializing in human and environmental health risk assessment. She works to understand and find solutions for issues related to access, sustainable supply, and safety of drinking water in Saskatchewan's First Nations, rural, and remote communities. Dr. Baharadwaj involves an entire community in her work. She could easily come to a community with a research assistant, conduct her work, leave, and later share results. But she understands that affecting change takes more than that. While assessing water quality in a First Nations community for one study, she hired a university student from that community to conduct interviews with elders to understand the history of water, culturally and environmentally. Elders were not only more comfortable speaking to a member of their own community, they were pleased that the study helped bring back life to one of the sacred elements that we may have somewhat forgotten. She visits classrooms to help students understand water within the context of their community, the province, the country, and the world. She initiates projects to give students hands-on learning experience. She works with community leaders and school administrators to develop educational programs to meet curriculum objectives. Dr. Baharadwaj has taken her outreach to Peru, where she quickly gained the trust of Andean community members through the same style of community-based participatory research. Through a conference, Dr. Baharadwaj brought together Saskatchewan and Peruvian Indigenous peoples, and they shared their stories and experiences around water. That experience had such an impact that apparently some Saskatchewan participants still ask, when are the South Americans coming back? Perhaps more indicative than any of the multitude of reasons that Dr. Baharadwaj is a worthy recipient of this award is the fact that the nomination was initiated by one of her community partners and supported by her academic peers, not the other way around, as is typically the case. In my opinion, that speaks volumes about the valuable relationships she has developed and the respect she has earned within various communities. It is this level of commitment, service, engagement, and respect that makes her a very deserving recipient of this award. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Dr. Lalita Baharadwaj, the recipient of the University of Saskatchewan's Award for Distinction in Community Engaged Teaching and Scholarship. Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, platform participants, graduates, and guests. It is my pleasure to present the University of Saskatchewan's Award for Distinction in Outreach and Public Service to Mr. Glenn Hauser. Glenn has found a way, actually several ways, to successfully combine his career, personal passions, which evidently include cars, and public service through volunteerism. He earned his degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Saskatchewan in 1992 and began a 10-year career working at the College of Engineering as Information Technology Manager in 2003. As manager, he led various projects to advance student access to specialized computer software and performed valuable work on the behind-the-scenes technology which aided in the college's accreditation process. For 7 years, Glenn volunteered his time as faculty advisor for Husky Motorsports, the college's student-led Formula SAE race team that designs, builds, and races a race car in international competitions. Glenn helped the team work with computer modeling in the design and engineering of the car. Under his leadership, the squad grew to a thriving cross-disciplinary team that utilizes the knowledge and experience of students across campus, such as finance and marketing students from the Edwards School of Business. He helped start the fledgling Mini Baja and Aero design teams as well. Glenn volunteers with the Saskatoon Soapbox Derby Club, where he served a term as president. He helps the children involved understand the physics of aerodynamics and rolling resistance to build faster gravity-powered cars. Combining his roles with Husky Motorsports and as a long-serving volunteer with Scouts Canada, Glenn was active with the university's sci-fi science camps, teaching children the physics behind the design of wooden cup cars. Glenn volunteers with Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Saskatoon, serving as their computer guy. Apparently, he also takes on the role of Santa Claus from time to time, donning the red suit to bring a smile to children's faces. He is also a long-standing member of the Knights of Columbus and currently serves as treasurer on the executive of a local council. Glenn's service to the university and community outreach as a volunteer make him a very deserving recipient of this award. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Mr. Glenn Hauser, the recipient of the University of Saskatchewan's Award for Distinction in Outreach and Public Service.
Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, platform participants, graduates, guests, and family members. Let me first of all begin by extending a warm welcome and congratulations to Chancellor Blaine Fable on behalf of the Alumni Association Board of Directors and all of our alumni. We know you will be a great ambassador of the university in your role as Chancellor. Chancellor Fable was officially installed at this morning's convocation ceremony in a very moving ceremony and his humble acceptance of duties that he will perform. My name is Judy Buzowetsky, and I'm a proud U of S alumna, earning my Bachelor of Science in Home Ec and Bachelor of Education. As a member of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association, it is my pleasure to congratulate the class of 2013 and welcome each of you as our association's newest alumni. Today, as you received your degree, your relationship with the university changes forever. You are now a proud member of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. You have joined our alumni family, a family with a storied history of excellence, a family of well-accomplished and distinguished alumni. You join the likes of Emmett Hall, former Chief Justice who sat on the Supreme Court of Canada and is considered one of the fathers of Canadian Medicare. Dr. Farah Mateen, a recent Young Alumni Achievement Award recipient who is internationally recognized for her research and scholarship in global health and urology. And it was a delight to meet her recently at the award ceremony. And it was interesting because the following morning she was off to Rio de Janeiro to meet with medical people in that area. Betty Ann Latrace Henderson, president of Airline Hotels. Curtis Posniak and Pierre Huckel, renowned wheat breeders who are working on sequencing the wheat genome. Dr. David Chalik, member of the Canadian Agricultural Hall of Fame, for his work as a veterinarian and cattle breeder. I could go on for a long while. Clearly, you are in good company, and deservedly so. You are the next generation of alumni who will confidently carve your own path and add chapters to the story of our great university over a century in the making. As you embark on new endeavors and build your careers, be sure to draw on your fellow alumni. Remember the role this institution has played in your life and make a conscious effort to keep in touch. But most importantly, display the degree you received today with pride, wherever you are, to let the world know that you are a difference maker and a leader. You now have the knowledge and the tools to make a difference, and we can't wait to see what you do next. On behalf of all of us who have come before you, a very warm welcome and heartfelt congratulations. Welcome to the University of Saskatchewan alumni family.
Hello, graduates, and to the families and everybody that's here. This has been a special day for me as well. I became the Chancellor this morning in a ceremony that some of the participants on the stage were attending and participating in, so those that are still here, thank you for doing so. It was a day of new experiences for me as well. I think it's a day for the graduates, and one of the things that I had to learn today that I'll take away is the need to enunciate your words very clearly, because my job is to say I admit you to all of the graduates, and I tried to do that as best I can, but I'm pretty sure I told about 3 of you that I missed you. You say it enough times, right? And it's like, it gets off your, I miss you. So for those of you, I really do miss you. And the university will miss you as you go forward. I'd like to thank a few people before we go our ways, and please hold your applause till the very end. Darren Olerching, please, and the University Wind Orchestra, who performed very well for us today. Thank you. Always exceptional music. Our signer, Clara Klassen, who has been here and working hard all day. Alison Walmsley, our vocalist this morning. Robert Badger, our traditional knowledge keeper. And Danielle Rudelet, the convocation coordinator, and all the members of her team for making these ceremonies a success. Let's give them a nice round of applause, please. Thank you. I'd also just like to say before we go, just a thank you to the families that are here. I see them way up high, and I see them in the corners, here showing their love and their support for you, the graduates. It's important. Getting through university is difficult, and there's some days that were very difficult, and I'm sure that you had visits and phone calls and lots of show of love and support. So thank you to all of you who came to support our graduates and helping them get through their degrees. And finally, to the graduates, enjoy and savor your success today. You have acquired a key tool for your future. Your degree combined with other important benefits have shaped you and will continue to determine who you are in the future. For the rest of your life, you will continue to retain your treasure of memories from your time at the University of Saskatchewan, of the faculty who have made a difference to you, your fellow students, and the joy and the friendships that you have made. You are now an alumnus of a very proud and successful university. I attest to you in my travels. I've traveled widely across Canada and across the globe. You find us everywhere, and in positions of great success, whether in small town Saskatchewan, in a First Nation, in a Métis settlement, or on Wall Street, or on Bay Street, or research facilities around the world. We've got a enormous amount of successful graduates around the world, and should be very proud to join that community. I ask you, as you go our separate ways, to keep the bond with the university very strong. We've got a very strong alumni association. We look forward to seeing you back on campus. We look forward to seeing you as we share our future together as alumnus of this facility, of this institution, I mean. And best of luck tonight. Congratulations and Godspeed.